A question I often get asked is, does back to Eden gardening really work? Does just bringing in wood chips make our gardens just have endless fertility without any maintenance other than adding more wood chips on top from then on? And for me, I think the answer to that question really starts with, how does a forest create soil? Because as we look around right now in the forest right now, there are several different processes right now going on that are creating soil. And a lot of people say, you know, the forest, it's just, you know, composting the organic matter. And it's not totally doing that. So there are a bunch of different processes happening. Some are like compost, where it's aerobic. Some are where there's no air involved and it's anaerobic. And there's oxidization too, and that starts, you know, in some ways, even before they leave the plant. So as the trees absorb the nutrition from the leaves, and as those leaves lose their moisture and lose the vitality within them, they are beginning to weather, they're beginning to oxidize, they're beginning to break down. And then they fall down to the ground. And as we can see right here, they just litter the ground. And it's this leaf litter. It's this organic matter mulch layer that is on the forest floor that we see. There are no wood chips. I don't see any wood chips. Do you? You guys see any wood chips? When was the last time you went to the forest and you found wood chips? So, the thing is, the wood doesn't break down that way. It requires, you know, someone we know well, right? Fungi. It requires fungi to take part in this equation to break it down. So, a good garden has fungi always in it. But a garden which is annuals, which is less like a old growth forest and more like the edge of a forest, we're gonna see different things and we're gonna require different things. So is it an exact analog? No, it is not. The forest is making soil through all this detritus and through all this organic matter that's just like fractionalizing and becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. It is the process of it turning into smaller and smaller surface area, so smaller and smaller life can work on it and turn it into even smaller particles for life to work with. And eventually, I mean, this is what humus is. This is what the carbonaceous elements of the soil are. They form these long carbon chains. Humic acids and fulvic acids, there's a debate over that because they're formed while you do the testing, the standard testing that they developed over the years. It's much easier to just look at the organic matter, much easier to just focus on the carbon through that pathway because it's proven and there's no extra bits that are questionable. And so for me, adding organic matter is critical. So wood chips by adding organic matter is pretty good, but because it's wood, it's gonna want to grow wood. A forest grows on a fallen forest, as Jeff Lawton likes to say. And so when we are adding a good mix into our gardens of yard waste from the meadows, from the fields, from the edges, and from the forest, we're gonna have a whole mix of biology. So if you've got, a food forest and there's annuals and perennials all mixed, that's gonna be great. But if it's just wood chips, and depending on what kind of wood chip, you might not get what you want. First of all, when you do just wood chips, that classic thing happens that everyone fears. You know that story, they're like, I planted my corn this year and nothing grew. It just was so dinky and it's because the nitrogen was locked up, in the process of breaking down the wood chips. And what that means is the carbon levels of the soil were so high that it started just tying up all the nitrogen in the decomposition process available in that area. If you go deeper, there's more nitrogen available. But in that area, in that soil, they tapped it out and it's gonna be tied up until that breaks down again. So you really have options that are better than just adding wood chips in every year and hoping for the best. Because the reality is, a forest grows on a forest. Back to Eden gardening works because there has been enough time, and the roots of the plants themselves, the garden over time, sends out the signal, sends out the exudates that calls in the life that with their relationship, even in that previously perennial-based soil, can now facilitate more towards those annual plants. So it's that relationship and it's time. And so what that means is that if you're thinking about this, if you're like, I thought about doing back to Eden gardening, I've got all of these wood chips, you're gonna have to, have an interval of time. And if in your climate, you might be brittle, you might be hot, you might be dry, and those wood chips might not break down very well. And you might end up just with like an endless, slow movement towards a nice garden. Because, in the Pacific Northwest, the wood chip gardening works really well because it's moist all year long. And, it's a fungal dominant bioregion. There's mushrooms everywhere. It's a forager's dream. It's also, shady, for most of the year. So it's wet and dark, which is perfect for mycelium to break all that down really quickly and easily. But in many other areas, back to Eden gardening won't work. And you have to have a more sophisticated relationship with soil to do things quicker, to do things so that you actually get what you want and you know what's going on, instead of just putting the wood chips down and hoping that it's somewhat like a forest or somewhat like a garden, because a garden only grows when it has the right nutrition, when it has the right soils. So there's a time period, people are complaining, people are freaked out, they're wondering why back to Eden gardening isn't working for them. And it's because the soil isn't being treated properly. And we can create soil like a forest if we're growing a food forest. We can create soil more like a forest, and it would still be good for our gardens because we'd have the smaller particle size, we'd be more like mulching, we'd be using leaf litter. All those things work really well for annual gardens. But the wood chips, that thicker, more dense carbon source, requires a lot of nitrogen to break down. And unless you're adding things in, unless there's nitrogen in your rain, maybe you're in the tropics, maybe you're in a very humid climate that's dominated by fungi. But wherever you are, you're gonna wanna think about this with a little bit more sophistication. You're gonna want to have more than just a garden of waiting, and you want a garden of Eden. You wanna make that garden of Eden happen fast. You wanna make those long-term choices now so that you set up a system that will allow you to have food within months, within one season, within 1 year, so that you don't have this perennial waiting game, waiting for your soils to finally catch up to someone else's bioregion and decomposition cycle and their methods. So keep that in mind. One size does not fit all. There's a tendency in gardening to try to do a one size fits all, like if you do this, it will, and it just doesn't work that way. We really need to have conversations. We need to have the specifics. We need to have the details. And that's why I work with so many different experts. That's why I work with, peer reviewers. That's why I cite things. That's why I read the actual journals and the actual research. Because it is from that space that we can talk with fluency about the complexity. And only then will we arrive at those simple, innovative, paradigm-shifting insights. And that is what I'm always after. Because when you can explain something that's complex down to the level of a child or a young adult, then everyone else can also understand it and use it at such a high level that it's pure empowerment. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about liberating us into the regenerative era, into the regenerative economy. So If you want to create amazing soil, if you want to support your business, support your farm, make your garden amazing, deal with the waste that your house is constantly generating, all of these things can be taken care of in an empowering, regenerative way. If you are a fan of Dr. Elaine Ingham, if you like Korean natural farming, if you love Joel Salatin, if you love Darren Doherty, if you love Peter McCoy, all of their insights, all of their one-on-one teaching, advice, and feedback have gone into this new book, Permaculture, Soil Science, and Solutions. So if you want to build soil, you want to build incredible soil, you want to build soil like the forest, you want to build soil that's perfect for your garden, now is the time. Join us on Kickstarter for Permaculture, Soil Science, and Solutions. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively. And I'll see you there.